So what we did, right, was we looked at the research that does exist out there, and we wanted to do something about it, and we wanted to do something about it in our own backyard. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-presenter, Anthony Thompson, and I'm going to want to introduce yourself first, and then we'll do. Okay.
Run the video.
We're going to run the video.
Okay, so Follow Suit Mentoring Program is a curriculum of 5 workshops that we break it down to with the young men. First, we teach them the whole realm of suits. What is a collar, what is a shawl collar, peak lapel. We teach them the measurements, their inseams, their neck measurements, and we also let them pick out their favorite colors, the patterns, and we're going to actually present them with the custom-made suit that they pick out. At the end of the program, they complete the 5 steps. So then we teach them how to tie a tie, which is another workshop. We give them the health and wellness workshop. We teach them about eating right, about exercising. And then today, as we're speaking, we're doing the financial literacy. And then we're going to cap it off with the vision board and goal setting. And then we have a graduation, and then the young men will get their suits. And in between all that, I have guest speakers come in, coaches, mentors, and those who can inspire the young men to stay on the right path. Okay, so.
Good morning, everyone. God bless. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so first, they say PSA. I'm not a PowerPoint specialist. So if I don't go with the slide, y'all gonna have to forgive me for that. So my name is Anthony Thompson. I'm the founder and CEO of Follow Suit Mentoring Program that you've seen in the video. So the goal is to inspire young men to dress for success. And it was instilled in me, upon me by my coach when I played high school basketball, about never getting a second chance to make a first impression. So first, I'm gonna give y'all 2 things that's on my resume. I'm emotional, I wear it on my sleeve. 2 things that's on my resume. Fugitive from justice. Convicted drug trafficking. So the Follow Suit program is about saving these kids' lives, so they don't have it on their resume. So that's the ultimate goal of the program. The fancy suits looking good. I tell the kids when I bring them in, we're gonna have fun, you're gonna look good, you're gonna learn something, but you're in front of me because I love you and I don't want you to have this on your resume. So within my program, we bring the kids in, like it says in the video, we teach them everything about a suit. You know, most of the kids, the first time they might put on a suit is going to a funeral at that age, and we don't want that. So we teach them about a suit is the first step of the workshop. The second one is how to tie a tie. Then we bring them to the gym, we work them out, we teach them about eating right and everything else. The financial literacy, we have a vision board. We also have healthy relationships where we teach them about sexual assault and domestic violence. And since my partnership with Samaritans, we also have the teen suicide prevention, which we call My Brother's Keeper. And so those are the 7 curriculums within my workshop that I started. And like I said, Follow Suit was founded and put together. I was sitting at home recovering from open heart surgery. And on the news every day repetitively was gang violence. Gang violence, 17-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid killed, 13-year-old kid killed. And I just said to myself, if they only would put the guns down and pull their pants up, we can make a difference. So I set out as making that part of my mission, because when I was doing my prison time, I said, I gotta give back to my community for the poison I put in it. And so I merged both of those actions together and started the Follow Suit program. And with that program, it has brought me into different rooms and different spaces, and one of those rooms that it brought me into was the mental health for black males with Toy Burton, and I was just there as just support because she's from the same hood as I'm from. So I just went there as support, you know, and hopefully do a little networking myself while I was there. So I said, I'm going and support it. And I'm sitting at the table and I'm by myself at this particular time. And this young lady here, she comes over and says, is anybody sitting with you? And I was like, no. I ain't gonna lie, I was sharp. I ain't gonna lie. I was sharp, so I know that played a little bit of part. So she came and sat down, she introduced herself, and she, you know, explained to me what she does. I explained to her about my program and what I do. And we talked for a little while and everything, and then as the day went on and we was about to leave, she said to me, Anthony, she said, you know what you're doing is suicide prevention. And I said, I never looked at it that way. I'm trying to save lives. And the light bulb went off in my head. And I responded, yes. Because a kid in my neighborhood who looks like me, if he drops out of school, that's a suicide choice. If he chooses to join a gang, that's a suicide choice. If he chooses to sell drugs, experiment with drugs, those are all suicide choices. And from there, that just started the ball rolling of me and her getting together. And then she introduced me to Stephen, and we just started having breakfast over time once a month. And he started sharing the data about how young black boys between the ages of 11 to 14 were committing suicide. And I was overwhelmed with it, and I knew that had to be a purpose, that we had to work together and put this follow suit and Samaritans thing together. And so over breakfast and breakfast and breakfast, and he talked to me, and he taught me about the curriculum and all the clinical and medical terms and the language that they use. And he said, you know, we can walk into the suburbs and just say this, but we can't walk into your neighborhood and do this. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna give you something to help you walk into my neighborhood. And he taught me 3 major things. One was asking. The second one was being able and willing to listen. And the third one is now know where to go and get the help. So we took those 3 things, and I said, man, the kids in my neighborhood, they're shooting threes. We're gonna take them and tell them, yo, we're gonna teach y'all about shooting threes in this program. So when they come into the program and we started off, that's what we tell them. We tell them, today we ain't shooting nothing but threes. So we added that to the curriculum along with some other languages, and we morphed it into the workshop that is now part of my 7-step program to follow suit. And so another aspect of it, I know if y'all heard at the end, when the kids complete the program, they're about them getting the custom-made suits. You know, so it's a non-profit. I hustle and scrape to get all this money, and no one's giving it to me. And so we do this out of the love of my heart. I have a full-time job. I don't do this full-time. I do this out of the passion of my heart to give back. And so along with Stephen, we've been putting and going at it. And I think we got a video to show from one of our recent prior workshops.
Yeah, actually, I think the next one up is Jordan. You want to share Jordan?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is new. And this is when I knew that we had made an impact.
Yeah, we had done one workshop, and this was
Same last name, no relation. And it was during this time when Jordan was at the workshop, he also revealed to everybody for the last 2 years he had been getting bullied in school. So that's when I knew we was on the right track of doing what we was doing. Suicide prevention, black and brown boys communities, giving people the tools that they need to make the right choices, recognizing self-sabotaging behaviors, having each other's back, and it takes a village. So that's where we took that language and said we have to call it my brother's keeper. and tell all the young men when they come in, look beside you, look behind you. You gotta be your brother's keeper. So it might not be you who's going through it, but it might be your brother sitting beside you. It might be your teammate. It might be your cousin. You know, it might be just the kid you ride the bus with, you know, every day. So be your brother's keeper.
So Anthony, this was that space where we were going to talk about, kind of offering up to everyone just to think about, what does it take to build community, build connection in your community, just to think about. And then I kind of want to pose that to Anthony. What do you think?
So you asked me that question a couple of times. So the first time it was relayed to me, asked upon me about how we do it in my community. I said you're going to need support by listening and learning. I said you're also going to have patience, because it's a whole different language. It's a whole new realm that we're stepping into. So it's the support, it's patience, and then it's the understanding. And that's plays a key part of it, understanding. You know, not the smartest person in the room is the person describing their own experiences. So you have to take that time to listen to these young men, because their experiences are not going to be the same as you might say, as the young man in the suburbs. So that's one of the key components that we have to do. And remember the time during our talk, me and Stephen, I said, you know, I came up with a saying, and I said, does suicide look like me? And I probably would say no. But now, after doing the work that I do, I say not only does suicide look like me, it looks like these young brown and black boys that are in front of me in my program. And that's our mission of the collaboration of suiting up to prevent suicide amongst young men of color. So I'm going to hand it over to Stephen, and I appreciate y'all's time.
I don't know if this is in here. I think we talked about it at one point. But at one point, Anthony and I were talking, and the sentence he said, I don't want to take it from you. May I, about the PhD?
Oh, go ahead. I'm here with you. You stay.
Okay. So he said, you know, you might have a PhD in this stuff, but I have a PhD in my community, right? And that just opened it all up